A chilling warning from Tehran is sending shockwaves across the Middle East. Iran now says it will target Israel's Dimona nuclear facility if the United States and Israel pursue regime change against the Islamic Republic. The warning, reported by the semi-official ISNA news agency, cites a senior Iranian military official. Dimona is no ordinary site. Buried deep in the Negev desert, it is widely believed to be the heart of Israel's undeclared nuclear program. A strike on Dimona would not simply mark another round of military escalation. It would risk triggering a radiological disaster with consequences far beyond Israel's borders. Jordan lies just miles away. A major incident could spread contamination across the region, impacting civilians, infrastructure, and fragile neighboring states. The threat dramatically raises the stakes in an already volatile standoff involving Iran, Israel, and the United States. With tensions simmering and rhetoric intensifying, the possibility of miscalculation grows more dangerous by the day. The warning comes amid soaring regional tensions and mounting fears of a broader Middle East conflict. If carried out, such a strike would risk triggering a dangerous and unpredictable escalation with global consequences.
Iranian forces have been executing a plan devised by Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and Iran's top commanders to sow chaos across the Middle East, create upheaval in global markets, and raise the stakes in the hope of pressuring the US and Israel to halt their attack. As per Financial Times, the supreme leader, who was killed in the first wave of strikes on Tehran on Saturday, and his lieutenants began working on a detailed plan after Israel's devastating 12-day war against the Islamic Republic in June 2025. This plan included attacks on energy facilities and strikes that would cause disruptions to air travel in the region. The report said that the plan has been implemented despite Khamenei's death and that of at least half a dozen top Iranian military and intelligence officials, including the defense minister and head of the elite Revolutionary Guards, in the massive bombardment by the US and Israel. On Monday, as markets reopened after the weekend, the regime dramatically escalated its response by targeting energy facilities in the oil-rich Gulf, firing drones at a critical gas facility in Qatar and one of Saudi Arabia's biggest refineries. This caused Qatar, one of the world's top suppliers of liquefied natural gas, to stop supplies. Oil and gas prices surged as shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow waterway through which about a fifth of the world's energy and gas passes, slowed to a halt. In the days since the US and Israel launched their war, Iranian drones have also struck hotels, airports, and ports in countries including Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Iraq, Oman, and Bahrain. It has launched barrages of missiles and drones at US bases across the region and is suspected to have struck a UK base in Cyprus. The tactics reflect lessons from the war in June 2025, when Iran was stunned by Israel's depth of intelligence penetration and its ability to assassinate its top military commanders in the first hours of that conflict. This time, it began rapidly retaliating after Khamenei and top defense officials were killed. Its proxies, which sat out the June war, have also joined the conflict. Hezbollah launched missiles at northern Israel, threatening a new war in Lebanon, and Iraqi militias targeted a US base in northern Iraq. Pro-Iranian supporters have also attempted to storm the Green Zone, which is home to Western embassies in the Iraqi capital. The widening regional conflict is what many feared was the worst-case scenario after Hamas's October 7, 2023 attack on Israel killed 1,200 people in the biggest single killing of Jews since the Holocaust. While it triggered waves of conflict in Gaza, Lebanon, Yemen, and between Israel and Iran, the Islamic Republic sought to calibrate its involvement, calculating that keeping the fight away from its shores was the best way to ensure regime survival. But the calculus changed after the Israeli and U.S. strikes in June, with analysts suggesting America and Israel have triggered the regional war, which Hamas once wanted on their own terms. The report by FT said Khamenei expected to be killed and to die as a martyr staying in his compound in Tehran with members of his family, despite the looming threat of an attack. That meant putting in measures to ensure that the regime could continue to project stability domestically and escalate its response to the U.S. and Israeli attacks. It is now the Revolutionary Guards overseeing military operations, with the forces led by Major General Ahmed Vahidi, who replaced the force's top commander after he was killed on Saturday. The result is a spiraling conflict that threatens to pull in more countries.
The Middle East is on edge as attacks intensify against Gulf states following US and Israeli strikes on Iran. After a drone attack on the US embassy in Riyadh, now Saudi Arabia claims its air defense system intercepted cruise missiles en route to the kingdom. Saudi Defense Ministry claimed 2 cruise missiles were intercepted over an area south of the capital, Riyadh. Additionally, a separate drone attack was thwarted, according to the Times of Israel's report that cited Saudi media. Without naming Iran, the Saudi Arabian Defense Ministry said 2 cruise missiles were destroyed in Al-Kaj district. Saudi press agency, citing a ministry spokesman, reported that 9 drones were intercepted and destroyed immediately upon entering the kingdom's airspace. Iran began hitting targets in Israel, as well as U.S. military assets in the Gulf states after the joint U.S.-Israeli strikes on February 28 and the killing of Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. On March 3rd, the U.S. Embassy in Saudi Arabia came under a drone attack launched by Iran. America's Central Intelligence Agency's station inside the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh was also hit by a suspected Iranian drone. Saudi Arabia's defense ministry said the embassy was hit by 2 drones, which resulted in a limited fire and some material damage. In a sharp escalation, Iran also targeted energy installation in Saudi Arabia. Iranian drone targeted the Ras Tanura refinery, one of the world's largest oil export facilities owned by Saudi Aramco. Saudi Defense Ministry said 2 drones were intercepted over the refinery, but the falling debris caused a fire. Saudi Defense Ministry spokesman Major General Turki al-Malki on Al Arabiya TV said that debris from an intercepted drone caused a limited fire at the facility. Aramco said the refinery was temporarily shut down following the strike. Ras Tanura produces more than 550,000 barrels per day and serves as a critical export terminal due to its location on the Persian Gulf, Reuters reported. The Washington Post had earlier reported that Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman had pushed US President Donald Trump last month for a strike on Iran, despite favoring diplomacy publicly. The report said that MBS made multiple private phone calls to Trump. Amid the escalating situation, the kingdom disputed media reports on March 2. Fahad Nazir, spokesman for the Embassy of Saudi Arabia in Washington, D.C., said in a post on X that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has been consistent in supporting diplomatic efforts to reach a credible deal with Iran. At no point in all our communication with the Trump administration did we lobby the president to adopt a different policy.